The stars looked cold and empty to Jiho as he stood on the bridge of the Light of Lyra. His ship led the small fleet of survivors, 23 silver ships shaped like thin crescents. They had traveled for many months through dark space. Behind them lay only ashes. The Vorath had burned their homeworld to glass. No one was left except the people on these ships. Jiho was tall for a Lyran, with smooth silver-blue skin and large dark eyes that caught every small light. He wore a simple gray uniform that once looked neat. Now it had tears and dark stains from long days without rest. He looked at the main screen. It showed a small yellow star far ahead. Sol, the home of humans. Haun stood next to him. She was smaller, with gentle eyes and short white hair. She served as the fleet's main speaker, the one who talked to others when words were needed. Her hands shook a little as she held the message pad. "Are we sure about this?" she asked in a soft voice. Jiho did not look away from the screen. "We have no other place. The Vorath will find us again if we keep running. Earth is our last hope." The other crew members watched in silence. Min Sok, the engineer with strong arms and a quiet face, checked the engines one more time. Tae Woo, the young scout, sat at his station with wide eyes. He had never seen humans before, only heard stories. Seyun, the scientist, worked on the translation program to make sure their words would reach human ears clearly. Ji Woo, the best pilot among them, kept her hands ready on the controls. They had sent the message many hours ago, a simple plea in every language they knew how to make. "To the people of Earth, we are the last of the Lyran people. Our world is gone. We ask only for refuge. We bring knowledge of stars, medicine, and machines. Please." Now they waited. A light flashed on the console. A signal came back, fast, clear, from the third planet. Ha-Un read it first. Her voice cracked as she spoke the words aloud. "Message received. This is Earth Defense Command. Approach slowly. Do not arm weapons. We will meet you at the outer edge of our system. Coordinates attached. Welcome." The bridge stayed quiet for a long moment. Then Tae Woo let out a small sound of surprise. Ji Woo smiled for the first time in weeks. Min Sok nodded once, like he had expected this. Jiho turned to Ha-Un. "Send thanks. Tell them we come in peace." She did. Her fingers moved quickly. The fleet changed course. The engines hummed low as they moved toward the new path. Hours passed, then days. The humans sent more messages, simple ones. Questions about food needs, medical problems, how many children were on board. They asked nothing about weapons or secrets, only about people. When the fleet reached the edge of the Sol system, 3 human ships appeared on sensors. They were different from Lyran ships, not curved and smooth like silver leaves. These were sharp, gray, and strong-looking, with many small guns along their sides. They looked ready for war. The lead human ship sent a direct link. A face appeared on the big screen. The man had short black hair and a hard jaw. He wore a dark uniform with gold lines on the shoulders. His eyes were calm but sharp. "I am Admiral Park Min-suk," he said in clear common speech, thanks to the translation program. "Commander of the Sol Guard Fleet. You are the Lyran refugees?" Jiho stepped forward. "Yes, I am Captain Jiho of the Light of Lyra. This is our fleet. We thank you for allowing us to come." The Admiral looked at them for a moment. He did not smile, but he did not look angry. "We know what happened to your world. The Vorath are not unknown to us. They have taken many places. We do not like that." Ha-Un spoke next. "We only want safety. We will follow all your rules. We bring no danger." Admiral Park nodded slowly. "Good, because we do not give trust easily, but we hate bullies more than we fear strangers. You will follow us in. Stay in formation. Do not break away. My ships will guard you until we reach Earth orbit." Jiho felt something warm in his chest. It was not hope yet. Too soon for that. But it was close. "Thank you, Admiral," he said. The human ships turned. Their engines glowed bright blue. The Lyran fleet followed slowly. As they moved deeper into the system, more human ships joined them. Small fighters flew around like birds, watching over a wounded animal. Big carriers hung back, silent but strong. Taewoo stared out the side window. "Look," he whispered. "They are protecting us already." Jiwoo laughed quietly. "Humans are strange. They say little, but they do much." Seyun checked her readings. "Their ships have strong shields. And weapons, many weapons. I have never seen designs like these." Minsok grunted. "They built them for fighting, not for running." Jiho watched the blue planet grow larger on the screen. Earth. It looked small from far away, but alive. Clouds moved over blue water. Green lands showed in patches. He thought of his own world, once green and blue, now black and dead. Ha'un touched his arm lightly. "We are here," she said. The Admiral's voice came again. "Welcome to Seoul. You are safe for now. We will talk more when you reach orbit. Rest if you can. You look tired." The link closed. Jiho looked around the bridge. Tired faces looked back at him, but the fear in their eyes had become something smaller. "Rest," he told them. "We have a home to see tomorrow." The fleet moved on. Silver crescents followed gray warships through the quiet dark. Ahead waited a world that answered a stranger's call, not with closed gates, but with open hands and ready guns. For the first time in many months, Jiho allowed himself to breathe deeply. The stars did not feel so cold anymore. The ground outside the city walls shook from the constant explosions. Smoke rose in thick black columns. Human drop pods had landed in a wide half-circle, and now the soldiers inside them fought to hold every meter of dirt they had taken. Sergeant Minsek Park crouched behind a broken piece of Vexari armor. His rifle barrel was hot. Sweat ran down his face inside the helmet. "Team, status," he shouted over the noise. Private Do Hun Yoon answered first. "2 wounded, but still shooting. Ammo low on the heavy gun." "Keep it tight," Minsek said. "We push to the trench line in 2 minutes." A Vexari warrior charged from the smoke, taller than a man, with shining black shell and 4 claw arms. It spat acid that hissed on the ground. Minsek rolled left, raised his rifle, and fired 3 quick shots. The bullets cracked the shell open. The bug fell twitching. Minsek did not stop to look. He waved his team forward. Above them, the sky lit up again. More pods came down, trailing fire. One landed close, too close. It cracked open, and Lieutenant Ha-Un Lee stepped out with her squad. She was small, but moved fast. Pursuit had red medical marks on the arms. She carried a big rifle in one hand and a medkit in the other. "Colonel's orders," she called to Minsok. "We link up with your group. Take the south approach. Clear it so the Concordance can open a gate." Minsok nodded. "Good to see you, Lieutenant. Let's move." The Vexari did not wait. They sent a new wave, hundreds of smaller drones that flew low and sprayed poison mist. The mist burned skin and melted armor if it stayed too long. Ha-Un's squad opened fire. Bullets tore through the drones. Some exploded in mid-air. Others crashed and kept crawling until someone stomped them. Inside the city, Captain Ren watched from the wall. His fur stood up from the cold wind and fear. "They are holding," he said to Elder Vara. "They do not run." Elder Vara's crystal body glowed brighter for a moment. "They fight like they were born for this. Look, see that one with the red marks? She pulls her friend out of the mist while still shooting." Ren looked. Haeun had one arm around a wounded soldier. With the other hand, she fired at a drone coming too close. The drone burst apart. She dragged the man to cover, then turned back to the fight. High above in the Incheon dawn, Colonel Ji-hoon Kim watched screens that showed every part of the battle. His face was calm, but his fingers tapped the arm of his chair. "Enemy swarm count?" he asked. Over 3,000 in the south sector alone, an officer answered. They are pulling reserves from the east wall. Ji-hoon thought for a second. Redirect 2 gunships, give our people air cover, and tell the strike teams to hit the Vexari command post if they can find it. The gunships dropped fast. They were old Earth fighters, loud engines, thick wings, guns that spat streams of bullets. They flew low over the battlefield. Their cannons roared. Vexari drones fell like broken toys. On the ground, Min-Sok's team reached the trench. It was deep and full of dead bugs. They jumped in and started clearing it room by room. A big Vexari soldier waited at the end. Bigger than the others, with extra armor plates. It roared and charged. Do-hyun-yoon stepped in front. He had a big knife in one hand and a pistol in the other. The bugs swung a claw. Do-hyun ducked and stabbed up under the shell. The bugs screamed. Do-hyun pulled the knife free and fired into the soft spot. The bug dropped. Min-Sok clapped him on the shoulder. Nice work. Now hold this line. Ha-eun arrived with her team. She knelt by a wounded Lyran who had crawled out from the city to help. The Lyran's crystal skin was cracked and dark. Ha-eun opened her medkit. This will hurt, but you will live. She sprayed something cold on the cracks. The Lyran hissed in pain, then relaxed. You are human? It asked in a weak voice. Yes, Ha-eun said. We came when we heard your call. The Lyran looked at her with wide eyes. Why? This is not your war. Ha-eun smiled under her helmet. Someone has to help. Might as well be us. More humans landed. They brought heavy guns and boxes of ammo. They shared with the Concordance fighters who came out through small side gates. A Zorath soldier took a human rifle and tested it. He grinned with sharp teeth. Loud, but it works. The battle went on for hours. The Vexari pushed hard. They sent their biggest warriors, ones with thick shells and acid cannons on their backs. One of them broke through and reached Ha-eun's position. It raised its cannon. Lieutenant Ha-eun did not run. She grabbed a fallen rocket tube, aimed from the hip, and fired. The rocket hit the bug square in the chest. It exploded in green fire. Pieces flew everywhere. Min-Sok ran over. You okay? Ha-eun breathed hard. Yes, but we need to push harder. They are bringing more. In orbit, High Swarm Lord Clive watched his screens with growing anger. His mandibles clicked fast. These apes should be dead by now. They have no shields, no energy weapons. Why do they still stand? A subordinate answered carefully. They fight without pause, Lord. They use their bodies like weapons. When one falls, 2 more take his place. Clive slammed a claw on the table. Send the elite guard. I want their leaders dead, especially the one giving orders from that ugly ship. Down on the planet, Colonel Ji-hoon's voice came through every human helmet. All units, this is Kim. We have their attention now. Hold the line. Reinforcements are coming. Make them pay for every step. The humans answered with a cheer. The sound carried over the battlefield. Even the Vexari paused for a second, confused by the noise. Captain Ren heard it from the wall. He turned to Elder Vara. They cheer in the middle of death. What kind of people are these? Elder Vara looked at the sky where more pods fell like stars. The kind that do not give up. The night grew darker. The battle did not stop. Humans and Concordance fighters stood side by side in the trenches. They shared water, ammo, and quick words of courage. A young human soldier gave his last energy bar to a hungry Zorath child who had slipped out to watch. The Vexari came again and again. Each time the humans met them with bullets, knives, and pure will. They were tired, they bled, but they did not break. High Swarm Lord Clive stared at the screens. For the first time in many years, he felt something close to worry. These newcomers were not supposed to be here. The galaxy had believed no one would arrive. Then Earth's warriors fell from the sky, and they refused to leave. Here is an image of human soldiers fighting side by side with tall crystal-skinned aliens against insect-like enemies in a smoky trench. Here is a visual of a female human lieutenant in powered armor, firing a rocket launcher at a charging giant insect warrior. Here is an image showing dropships providing close air support, strafing enemy swarms with heavy guns. Days turned into weeks on Clithera 4. The ground outside the city was now a mess of craters, broken shells, and twisted metal. The humans had carved out a strong position. They built simple walls from Vexari wreckage and their own empty drop pods. Every night, they lit small fires to cook what little food they had. The smell of hot rations mixed with the sharp stink of gunpowder and bug blood. Colonel Ji-hoon Kim came down to the surface in a small shuttle. He landed near the main human camp. His boots hit the dirt, and he walked straight to the command tent. Inside, Sergeant Min Seok Park and Lieutenant Ha-in Lee waited with Captain Ren and Elder Vara. The aliens looked tired but curious. The humans looked worn but steady. Ji-hoon took off his helmet. His hair was short and gray at the sides. "We hold the south and west approaches," he said. "But the Vexari are bringing bigger forces. We need to talk plans." His fur was cleaner now. Someone had brushed it. "You came from nowhere. You fight like demons. But why? Earth is far. This war brings you nothing." Ji-hoon met his eyes. "We heard your call. It was old and weak, but it reached us. On Earth, we have a rule. If someone asks for help, we answer, no matter the distance." Elder Vara's crystal skin shone softly. "Many species hear cries and turn away. You did not." Ji-hoon shrugged. "We are new to the stars, but we know what it feels like to be alone. We will not let others feel that." Ha-un spoke up. "We lost people already, good people, but we stay, we fight." The meeting went on. They drew maps on a cracked table. Ji-hoon pointed to weak spots in the Vexari lines. Min-seok suggested night raids. Ren offered his Zorath scouts to guide them. For the first time, the defenders felt like they could win. Outside, the Vexari changed their attack. High Swarm Lord Clith sent bioplague drones. These were small flying things that burst open and released green clouds. The clouds burned lungs and eyes. Many Concordance fighters fell sick. Humans, too. Ji-hoon ordered masks and filters from the ships. Ha-un worked without rest. She moved from tent to tent, giving shots and cleaning wounds. One night, she found a young Lyran child coughing blood. Ha-un sat with her for hours, holding her hand until the medicine worked. The child's mother, a tall crystal woman, watched in silence. Later, she bowed low to Ha-un. "You saved my daughter. We owe you everything." Ha-un just smiled. "We are here to help. That is all." The humans did not only fight. They fixed things. They took broken Vexari weapons and made them work with human parts. They built loudspeakers on towers and played music, old Earth songs, mixed with battle drums. The sound confused the Vexari hive mind. Their attacks slowed when the music played loud. One morning, the Vexari hit hard. They sent a wall of acid cannons on huge walking platforms. The platforms moved slow, but shot far. Shells landed inside the city. Buildings cracked. People screamed. Ji-hoon was in the front line. He grabbed a rocket launcher and aimed at the nearest platform. The rocket flew true. It hit the leg joint. The platform fell sideways, crushing its own troops. Min-seok led a countercharge. His team ran low through smoke. They threw grenades under the platforms. Explosions ripped metal and shell apart. One platform caught fire. It burned bright green. But the humans paid a price. Sergeant Tae-woo Choi took a direct acid hit. His suit melted. He kept shooting until his ammo was gone. Then he stood up, pulled a knife, and charged the last bug in front of him. He killed it before he fell. His team dragged him back, but it was too late. That night, Taewoo's friends sat quiet around the fire. No one spoke much. Ha-eun came and sat with them. She did not say empty words. She just shared her water and listened. Ji-hoon found Min-seok later. He was a good man. Min-seok nodded. The best. He bought us the ridge. We held because of him. Ji-hoon put a hand on Min-seok's shoulder. We remember them by winning. The next day, the Concordance fighters started to change. They fought harder. A Zorath warrior named Kor took a human rifle and led a small group to destroy a Vexari supply line. They came back with food crates and captured drones. Kor grinned at Min-seok. Your guns speak loud. I like them. Even Elder Vara picked up a pistol. She had never used one before. Ji-hoon showed her how. She fired at a target and hit it clean. It feels honest, she said. High Swarmlord Clythe grew more angry every day. In his command ship, he paced on 6 legs. These apes mock us. They play noise. They heal our enemies. They refuse to die. His officers stayed quiet. They knew the truth. Losses were high. The humans fought like they had nothing to lose. One evening, Ji-hoon stood on a hill looking at the city. Lights flickered in the windows. For the first time in a year, they were not just survival lights. They were hope lights. Ha-eun joined him. The Concordance people talk about us now. They call us Sky Warriors. Ji-hoon smiled a little. We are just people. Tired, hungry people who won't quit. Ha-eun looked at the stars. More ships are coming, right? Yes, Ji-hoon said. The Soul's resolve is close. Heavy cruiser. Big guns. When it arrives, we end this. Far away, the big ship moved through space. Its engines burned steady. On board, thousands of soldiers waited in drop bays. They checked weapons and armor. They knew what waited below. Back on the planet, a Vexari scout drone flew too close. Min-seok shot it down. Inside the broken shell, they found a message pod. It said the Dominion was sending the final wave. A huge swarm ship was coming down. One last push to crush everything. Ji-hoon read the message. He looked at his officers. They think this is their victory move. We will make it their mistake. That night, the humans and Concordance prepared. They sharpened blades. They loaded guns. They told stories to keep spirits up. A young human soldier played a small guitar. The music was soft, but strong. It carried across the lines. Captain Ren listened from the wall. He turned to Elder Vara. They sing before battle. They laugh when wounded. They help strangers like family. Elder Vara nodded. We believed the galaxy had forgotten us. We were wrong. Help came, not in fancy ships or great fleets. It came in stubborn hearts that would not break. The sky stayed dark. The ground waited. The Vexari gathered their strength for one big strike. They were ready. They had turned the tide. And they were not done yet. Here is an image of human medics treating wounded crystal-skinned aliens in a makeshift field hospital under dim lights. Here is a visual of determined human soldiers repurposing alien wreckage to build defenses while under fire. Here is an image showing a mixed group of human and alien fighters sharing a quiet moment around a campfire at night, with distant battle glow on the horizon. The sky above Clithera 4 turned heavy and red as the Vexari made their final move. A massive sworn ship dropped from orbit. It was bigger than any ship the humans had seen, black and spiked like a giant angry beetle. Its shadow covered the city and the trenches. The ground shook when it started to land. Thousands of Vexari warriors poured out from its bays. They formed lines that stretched far into the smoke. High Swarm Lord Cliff stood on the command deck of the swarm ship. His eyes glowed yellow. This ends today, he hissed. Crush the apes. Burn the city. Leave nothing alive. Down below, the defenders watched the ship come down. Colonel Ji-hoon Kim stood on a small hill with his officers. He spoke into his comm. "All units, this is Kim. The Soul's resolve is almost here. Hold for 10 more minutes, then we hit back hard." 10 minutes is a long time when they have that many. Lieutenant Ha-eun Lee stood next to him. Her armor had new dents and burns. "We have faced worse. We keep them busy." The Vexari charged. It was like a black wave rolling forward. Acid cannons fired. Drones filled the air. The humans and Concordance fighters met them head-on. Bullets flew. Grenades exploded. Swords and claws met in the dirt. Captain Ren led a group of Zorath on the left side. They used human rocket tubes to blast holes in the swarm. Elder Vara stayed near the city gate. She fired a pistol with steady hands. Her crystal skin shone bright, like a beacon for her people. In the middle of the fight, Do Hyun-yoon moved fast. He carried a heavy machine gun. He set it up on a broken wall and started shooting. The gun roared. Vexari fell in rows. When the belt ran out, he switched to his pistol and kept firing. A big Vexari warrior reached him. Do-hyun dropped the empty gun, pulled his knife, and jumped. He drove the blade into the soft spot under the jaw. The bug dropped. Do-hyun rolled away, breathing hard. High above, the Soul's resolve broke into view. It was old, but strong. A heavy cruiser with thick armor and big railguns. Its captain sent one message: "Hold tight. We are coming in hot." The cruiser did not slow down. It aimed straight at the swarm ship. At the last second, it fired all engines forward. The ship rammed the side of the swarm ship with a sound like thunder. Metal screamed. Sparks flew. The swarm ship tilted hard. From the Soul's resolve, drop bays opened. Thousands of pods shot out. They fell like bright stars through the smoke. Each pod carried more humans, fresh soldiers in heavy suits, ready to fight. The pods hit the ground hard. They cracked open. Soldiers poured out, running. One group landed right in front of Minsek's line. They brought fresh ammo and heavy launchers. "About time," Minsek shouted with a grin. The new soldiers charged forward. They fought side by side with the ones who had been there for weeks. Together, they pushed the Vexari back, step by step. Sumin Park lay on a high ridge. She was a sniper. Her rifle was long and steady. Through the scope, she watched the swarm ship. She saw Vexari officers moving on the top deck. She aimed carefully. One shot. An officer fell. Another shot. Another fell. The swarm started to slow. Without leaders, they grew confused. Ha-eun ran through the chaos. She pulled wounded humans and aliens to cover. She bandaged cuts and gave shots. A Vexari drone flew at her. She shot it down with her sidearm. Then, she kept moving. On the swarm ship, Clythe roared in anger. "These fools dare!" He ordered his guards to attack the humans who had boarded through the breach. But the humans were already inside. They fought in tight halls. Bullets bounced off walls. Knives flashed. The Vexari were strong, but the humans were fast and did not stop. Ji-hoon led a small team up the broken corridors. He carried a short rifle and a combat knife. They reached the command deck. Clythe waited there with his elite guards. "You," Clythe hissed at Ji-hoon, "you are the leader of these apes. You should have stayed on your small world." Ji-hoon stepped forward. Blood ran down his arm, but he stood straight. "We came because someone needed us. You came to kill. That is the difference." Clythe laughed, a sharp clicking sound. "You are young, weak. The galaxy belongs to the strong." Ji-hoon smiled a little. "We have been fighting each other for thousands of years. We learned a few things." The fight started. Clythe was fast. His claws cut air. Ji-hoon dodged and fired. Bullets hit the shell but did not go deep. Clythe knocked Ji-hoon down. He raised a claw to finish him. Ji-hoon rolled. He pulled a hidden blade from his boot. When Clythe came close, Ji-hoon drove it up under the shell. Clith screamed. He fell back. Ji-hoon stood up and fired one last shot into the head. Clith dropped. The command deck went quiet. Without their lord, the swarm lost focus. The warriors outside started to break. Ji-hoon spoke into his comm. Clith is down. Push now. Push hard. The humans and concordants heard the order. They cheered and charged. The Vexari lines cracked. They ran back to their ships. Many ships tried to lift off, but human gunships shot them down. The big swarm ship burned. It tilted more and more until it crashed into the dirt far from the city. Smoke rose high. The battle slowed. Then it stopped. The ground was quiet except for the crackle of fires and the soft moans of the wounded. Ji-hoon walked out of the wreck. He limped a little. Min-sok met him. Ha-eun ran up and checked his arm. "You okay?" she asked. Ji-hoon nodded. "We did it." Captain Ren approached. His fur was black with soot. "You killed their lord. The swarm is broken." Elder Vara came next. Her crystal skin was dim from the fight, but her eyes were bright. "We thought this was the end. Then you fell from the sky. You gave us victory." Ji-hoon looked at the burning swarm ship. "We gave each other a chance. That was enough." Around them soldiers helped the wounded. They shared water and quiet words. A young Lyran child ran up and hugged Ha-eun's leg. She knelt and smiled. The sky started to clear. The red faded to gray, then blue. The sun came through the smoke for the first time in weeks. They had won the battle. But the real victory was bigger. They showed the galaxy that help could come, even when no one believed it would. Earth's warriors had fallen from the sky, and they had changed everything. Here is an image of a massive alien swarm ship crashing into the ground in flames while human drop pods rain down around it. Here is a visual of a human colonel in battered armor facing a giant insectoid alien lord in single combat on a damaged command deck. Here is an image showing exhausted but triumphant human and alien fighters standing together on a battlefield at dawn, with smoke rising and the enemy in full retreat. The battlefield was quiet for the first time in many months. Smoke still rose from burning wrecks, but the sharp sounds of battle had stopped. The Vexari swarm ship lay broken far away, its pieces scattered like dead bones. Small fires burned green and blue in the dark. The air smelled of hot metal, wet dirt, and the strange sour scent of Vexari blood. Humans and concordance fighters walked slowly among the wounded. They helped each other stand. They carried bodies to safe places. No one spoke loud. The silence felt heavy but good, like the end of a long storm. Colonel Ji-hoon Kim stood near the city gate. His arm was bandaged. Blood stained his uniform, but he stood tall. Lieutenant Ha-eun Lee walked up to him with a water bottle. She offered it without a word. He took a long drink and handed it back. "Thank you," he said quietly. Ha-eun looked around. "We lost many, but we saved more. That is the only thing that matters." Captain Ren approached with Elder Vara. Ren's fur was matted and dirty, but his eyes were clear. Elder Vara's crystal skin glowed soft and steady again. Behind them came a small group of Lyran and Zorath fighters. They carried no weapons now, just hope. Ren spoke first. "The Vexari are gone. Their ships flee. The Dominion will not forget this day." Elder Vara looked at Ji-hoon. "We believed no one would arrive. We prepared to die alone. Then Earth's warriors fell from the sky. You changed everything." Ji-hoon shook his head. "We did not do it alone. You held the walls for a year. You fought when hope was gone. That gave us time to get here." A young Lyran child ran forward. She was small, with skin like pale glass. She stopped in front of Ji-hoon and looked up. "Are you really from Earth?" Ji-hoon knelt so he could meet her eyes. "Yes, my home is far away." "Why did you come?" Ji-hoon thought for a moment. Because someone was in trouble, and we could help. That is reason enough. The child smiled. She reached out and touched his hand. Her skin felt cool and smooth. Thank you, Sky Warrior. Ji-hoon smiled back. It was the first real smile in weeks. More people gathered. Humans shared food from their packs. Zorath fighters passed around flasks of strong drink. Lyran sang a soft song in their clear voices. The song had no words, just gentle sounds that rose and fell like wind through trees. Everyone listened. Even the tired soldiers sat down and closed their eyes for a moment. Sergeant Min-sok Park sat on a broken crate. Soo-min Park joined him. She cleaned her sniper rifle with slow, careful hands. We made it, she said. Min-sok looked at the city. Lights shone in every window now. Yeah, we did. Do-hyun-yoon walked over. His armor was scratched deep, but he moved easy. Tae-woo would be proud. They were quiet for a while. Then Min-sok spoke. We tell his story, so no one forgets. Soo-min nodded. We tell all their stories. In the days that followed, ships from other concordance worlds arrived. They brought doctors, food, and builders. The cities started to heal. Walls were fixed. Homes were cleaned. Children played again in the streets. The humans stayed to help. They taught simple repairs. They showed how to make strong concrete from local stone. They shared their food. Rice, kimchi, noodles. The aliens tried it and liked some of it. A Zorath warrior ate spicy stew and coughed hard, then asked for more. One evening, Elder Vara called everyone to the main square. Torches burned bright. The sky was clear, full of stars. She stood on a low platform. Today we honor our friends, she said. Her voice carried far. We were lost. We thought the galaxy had turned its back. But help came. Not in gold ships or mighty fleets, but in people who would not give up. They fought beside us. They bled with us. They laughed with us when we forgot how. She turned to Ji-hoon. Colonel Kim, your people owe us nothing, yet you gave everything. The Concordance will never forget. Ji-hoon stepped forward. He spoke simple words. We do not want thanks. We do not want land or power. We want friends. That is all. The crowd cheered. It was loud and happy. Humans clapped. Aliens made their own sounds. Clicks, hums, bright notes. The noise filled the night. After the speech, people stayed in the square. They talked. They shared stories. Ha-yoon sat with a group of Lyran children. She told them about Earth, blue oceans, green mountains, busy cities. The children listened with wide eyes. Min-sok and Ren stood together. Ren asked, Will you stay? Min-sok shook his head. We go home soon, but we will come back if you need us. Ren put a big hand on Min-sok's shoulder. You are welcome any time. Ji-hoon walked to the edge of the square. He looked up at the stars. Ha-eun joined him. Thinking about home? She asked. Yes, he said, and about what comes next. Ha-eun smiled. The galaxy knows our name now. Ji-hoon nodded. Good. Let them know we are here, not to conquer, just to stand when others fall. The next morning, the human ships prepared to leave. Soldiers said goodbye. They hugged, they shook hands. Some exchanged small gifts. A human knife for a Zorath claw pendant. A Lyran crystal for a photo of Earth. The Soul's Resolve waited in orbit. One by one, shuttles lifted off. The last pod closed its door. Ji-hoon looked back at the city from the window. Lights glowed warm below. The ships rose. They turned toward the black of space. Engines burned bright. On the ground, the people of Clethera 4 watched them go. Elder Vara stood with Captain Ren. The child who had spoken to Ji-hoon waved her small hand. They will be back. Ren said. Elder Vara smiled. Yes, because someone always comes when they are needed. The ships disappeared into the stars. The legend spread fast. Across Concordance worlds, people told the story. In quiet rooms and busy markets, they spoke of the day help arrived when no one believed it would. They spoke of warriors who fell from the sky, not in pride or glory, but in stubborn courage. Earth became a name spoken with respect, not for technology, not for power, but for the simple choice to answer a call. And somewhere, far away, on a small blue planet, people heard the story too. They knew, if trouble ever came again, others might answer. Because that is what humans do. They show up, they stand, they fight, and sometimes they win. The galaxy would remember. They believed no one would arrive. Then Earth's warriors fell from the sky. Here is an image of a peaceful city square at night, after the battle, with humans and tall crystal-skinned aliens gathered around torches, sharing food and stories under a starry sky. Here is a visual of human soldiers saying emotional goodbyes to alien allies at a landing zone, with shuttles ready to lift off in the background. Here is an image showing a human colonel standing on a hill at dawn, looking up at departing ships rising into a clearing sky, with the healed city glowing warmly below. The story is now complete. Thank you for following along. If you want any changes, expansions, or a new story, just let me know.